Hi everyone, it's Michelle here at McKK 1988. So glad you clicked on this video because I have an amazing bag to show to you. A few weeks ago, I watched a video by Autumn Beckman, and I tried to go back and find the video so I could link it for you so you guys could watch it, but also to give her credit. I don't know what happened to the video. I scrolled through everything that I'd watched of hers and I couldn't find it. So I will tag Autumn's channel in the description down below. I suggest you go look at it. Autumn has a lot of great videos and content, especially around Coach. And what I love is that she gives us Coach history. I don't know about you, but I like to know something about the brand, right? I like to know something about the creative designers and the alternatives. I don't necessarily always want to get like the biggest, most trendy bag that is currently out and about. But Autumn had done a video on some of like the Satchel or Empire alternatives from Coach. And one of the bags that she featured, I was like, wait, where has this bag been my whole life? Like, I've never seen this bag. And it was the first bag that Stuart Vevers had done under the Coach Fashion House when he joined. I think it was back in 2014 or 2015. And it's called the Ace Satchel. And now she did feature a few other bags in that video, and they were all so nice bags. But what I like about the Ace Satchel is that she talked about it being kind of Coach's nod to the Speedy. And the bag just, to me, had a little bit more edge than some of the other Coach bags that I've looked at. And I have been eyeing a larger Coach satchel for quite a while, but I've had to be very particular because, as I keep repeating, I have scoliosis and I've learned how to balance my body out and alternate and what have you. And I think now that I've finally figured out what my everyday carry looks like, I've reduced it enough that I could allow myself to have a larger bag because I like to carry larger bags for that beautiful slouch. I don't need to fill the bag up. My kids aren't babies anymore and I don't carry shit for them or anyone else. It's just me, myself, and I. I'm in my selfish era. Self-preservation, we call it though. But and so I was like, man, I really want to find like a good satchel. I had actually been considering getting one of the Coach outlet bags, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it right now. It's super popular, everybody buys it, it's the Coach. But the thing is, I couldn't quite find a colorway that I liked in that bag. And as I was looking at it, I was like, I don't think I would go for the Rowan. Oh my gosh, the Coach Rowan. That's what it is. Okay, so I've been considering the Coach Outlet Rowan because they've been very, very popular. And with some of the recent drops, they had dropped a few colors that were actually really kind of nice and made me think that, I could push my own boundaries on this bag. But I was having a hard time finding the exact colorway that I wanted. And then when I was considering that I probably wanted a solid color, a lot of those do lean to the leather, which is fine. I love a good leather bag, but I really have not been able to get into pebbled leather. And then the fact that the Coach Rowan, the originals, no longer have the feet. I really wanted a satchel that had feet. I wanted a bag that I could beat up over time because I really want that, I want that worn in look. I want to be able to thrash it and trash it and have it just look kind of edgy, I realized. So I got the Coach Ace Satchel, okay? And I will tell you, there is no shame in my secondhand game. And I feel like I have learned to be a really good secondhand shopper. There are quite a few Coach Ace Satchels on the market that are brand new. And I think those, from what I was researching, you can get those from around $300 to $600. I did initially order a Coach Ace Satchel in Merlot, but then I changed my mind because I just felt like I had already gotten another burgundy bag and I wanted it, if I was gonna get another Merlot bag, I wanted it to be one that had like the burnishing. So the seller was very polite and thankfully hadn't shipped it yet. She did cancel my order for me. Then I saw the Coach Ace Satchel in green and I was gonna order that one. But then I was looking at the bag, I'm like, it's new with tags. She was willing to give me a good deal on it. But I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I could tell it was a new bag, but I could also tell that it hadn't properly been stored. And the bag honestly looked like it hadn't been stuffed and like it had probably been exposed to some really dry air because the leather just looked a little like shrunken or dried out in some areas. And like, yeah, I could put the work into reshaping it. I've been researching that and I've been working on some project bags myself. But if I'm paying a higher price for a new with tags bag, I really didn't want to do the work for it. And so I didn't get that bag. And I was like, you know what? I just finished this bag for my sister And I think it really just like sparked my creativity and helped me consider and think like, that's what I want. I like a good project bag. I like a bag that screams Michelle. I like a bag that screams my style. And not every bag has to be that way. I do also love a good clean aesthetic, but there are days when I just want to be like edgy or sporty or just like rough and tumble, but still put together. And so I went back and I found a seller on Mercari who, although she was a little slower to respond, like I understand she has a life. She had a listed for 140, of course, before like the little fees and shipping and stuff. And the bag you could tell was very clean, very well cared for. And then yeah, I did judge the pictures and her house looked clean as well. And I feel like that's a good way to determine how somebody takes care of their belongings. You know, say what you will. It was a good price. So y'all, I got it. I got that black Coach Ace Satchel, and I decided this is going to be my bag of doing the most. And so everything that I had always ever wanted to do to a bag, I went ahead and did in order to create my dream bag. And then on top of that, I took this bag into Coach Create, and I literally just got back like maybe 30 minutes ago. But I took the bag to Coach Create and I customized my first bag. And when I tell you I am in love with this bag, I am so excited to wear her. I'll find ways to wear her throughout the summer, but it is, you know, a black bag. It is a heavier bag, and I did really buy it with the intention of using it for fall and winter. But y'all, don't scream, okay? But this is my Coach Ace Satchel. This is my dream bag. And when I tell you I was going for edgy, that is exactly what I mean. Now I do have her stuff right now, and obviously I have her decorated and dressed, and I am so proud of myself for this bag. I have never allowed myself to do this just because I always just like overthink, or like my bag has to be so purposeful and so functional. And for this one I said, fuck it. I want it to be fun, okay? So the first thing I'll do is give you a quick overview of the bag. Again, this is all black. It is beautiful, beautiful. I love that it has the hinge on the straps, so it makes it perfect for hanging bag charms. It does have a dual zipper. It has like the great aesthetic on the side. The bag does come with a crossbody strap that has like the little pad shoulder. I don't know that I'll ever carry it that way. I like that this one has like the burgundy glazing. It's got the nice little turn lock feature, and those do come undone, so you can loosen the bag. Very similar to how like the Empire does. I love that the Ace Satchel has this pouch on the back, and it is big enough for a phone. I have my iPhone 16 Pro in there now, and honestly, it's just gorgeous. Plus, this bag comes with feet, and it has a nice slouch. There's no base set. So to me, it reminded me a lot of, like, to me, there was a lot of styling in this bag that I think, you know, I can see kind of represented in the Empire, although of course Empire's a much dressier bag. But I wanted to describe the bag to you first and like why I did this setup. And again, I've realized like rather than buy a shit ton of bags, what I'm really looking for is bags that are really me, right? I figured out what I need as far as function, but now I'm like trying to hone in on this style a little bit more. I mean, yeah, there are days where I dress super conservative, and there are days that I dress a little bit more chic, a little bit more edgy. I have a very eclectic sense of style, and I love to dress according to my mood, according to my activities. And sometimes I just love to push the boundaries a little bit. And that's what I wanted this bag to be. But I call this bag my dream bag for a few reasons. One, because I wanted the creativity, but two, I wanted to really put some meaning into the bag. So I'm going to start on this left side here. This is just a simple pochette chain strap that I purchased on Amazon. I love the chain look, but I was trying not to add too much extra weight. This is not a heavy satchel, but I haven't carried a bag this big for a little while, so I just like that edginess. And the D-rings on this one do fall all the way flat, so that's great for chains. On one of my recent Coach purchases, the seller had included this black cherry charm without the key attachment. She had just hung it on the hang tag. I was like, oh my gosh, how did she know? Because I was actually wanting to go back and buy the black cherries. So I put those on this bag. I've wanted to have like a cherry bag and explore the cherry aesthetic, but a lot of like the cherry bags now have like just too much cherry print on them for me from a sensory perspective. And I don't necessarily know that I want to get one of the big cherries yet. that might be down the line. Of course, this is my favorite hang tag for my new sales associate at North Park. If you're not following her, you should. This girl has got a crazy bag collection. And if you didn't see her in the store, you probably wouldn't know that she is a sales associate. It is her part-time gig. But she has just a really good eye for not only purses, but great sound sales advice. And she is really, like, even her teammates tell me all the time about how she's so just like into Coach and really just loves it. She's very passionate about it and has been like working to teach herself how to make unique tags and style her bags. And, you know, just in the couple weeks that she and I have connected, she's been so helpful, so communicative. And I love that it comes from like an earnest place of interacting. It's not like she's just being nice to get me to buy something, because there are a couple times I've walked out without anything in hand. But I love the Ace of Hearts. And for me, it's like, I'm not a huge card player yet, but I like that it's like a symbolic way of you know, thinking about like just like my reminder that things that I try to remind myself to do is to live my life full of passion, to live my life full of purpose, and to be empathetic and like serving from a genuine, honest place, like whenever I can. So I always say, like, you know, do everything with heart. And so that's that. And then I really wanted to get a hang tag that was a little more customized. So I was, you know, I'm an 88 baby, and I was born in the year of the dragon. And I really feel like we haven't seen any stuff like that. But I saw that Coach had the new symbols in for the dragon. And then I wanted her to put my initials underneath. And then, of course, I reiterated the heart plane tag again. And I don't know if this is carrying through, but this looks so good in person. Both of these tags are actually printed in gunmetal, and then they have the gunmetal chains. And I just love that because they're just so flexible and look good with my black bags. But these are going to stay married on this bag. For those of you that don't know, the Coach Ace Satchel did not come with a hang tag. It just has the branding here and then the key keeper. The last thing is I had purchased a padlock some time back on Poshmark. And, you know, you can interpret a heart padlock however you would like to. I just like the aesthetic purpose of it, but also, like, for me, there is a little bit more meaning as far as, you know, just having personal boundaries and not just giving your heart to everyone. And if you heard my last story, you might relate and understand exactly why I carry that, you know, not on lockdown, but just, you know, thinking about the pursuit of love a little bit differently. Let me not get too personal. Okay, next one. So I was laughing like when this new distress line was released from Coach, because I'm like, man, I am not going to pay Coach $100 to give me this little Rexy and blah, 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 when I know I already have a little Rexy. When I first started my Coach journey, I watched a What's in My Bag, and the creator shared a channel for an Etsy seller who makes mini T-Rexes. And so I'd already had this one in gunmetal. I might change the attachment later because it just comes with a zipper pull, but it's really great. It's got good weight on it. And she does make them in several different colors. I think gold, there's a rainbow one, some others. And this was like maybe $5.99 in shipping, so less than $10 versus some of the Coach Rexies that can get quite expensive. Last but not least, I thought it was really cool that, like, on the distress bags, Coach started adding the key keeper, and the Coach Ace Satchel already came with a key keeper. Now, I didn't know that the key keepers were actually functional until mine came here, and I looked and I was like, oh, there's the keyhole. And I was like, you know what? I already have a key, and I would love to put that key on this bag. And this key is the key to my first home that I ever bought. And I had such a hard time leaving that home. And it was actually a home that I drew and designed from the ground up. And then we actually had it custom built. So I'm going to insert pictures in like a little video because it's like my pride and joy. But this is, and I'm going to see about getting a key inscribed or finding like a metal like pen to write on, because this key just reminds me of that project of building that home. That just reminds me to always like dream big. You know, I've always been a creative person. When I was a kid, I used to want to be an architect and draw homes, and I love perspective drawings. And through my art, I've always studied light, right? And I knew exactly like what I wanted in a house, all these different things. And I figured, you know what? I gave up on my dream of being an architect years ago, but I had set a goal that I wanted to buy my first home before I was 30. And I wanted that first home to be one that I designed. And people told me I was crazy and that I was doing too much and I was wanting too much and blah, 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 blah. Well, wouldn't you know that not only did I get to custom design and build a home working with the builder's architect, It was a one-of-a-kind home. And I always call it the home that Pinterest built because I combined 3 different styles. I combined a traditional French home, I combined a Southern California modern and an Australian modern to create this very one-of-a-kind home that was everything I'd ever hoped for. And everybody, like, people will come by, can we take pictures? Can we see this house? And it was just so great. And then for the time that my kids and I lived there, it felt like when I would walk through the doors of that home, it felt like walking into my own soul. And I loved it, and it was peaceful, and it was aesthetic, and it was everything I ever wanted in a home. But, as time went on, I realized that the area that it was in, because we lived in the south of Texas, and it's the southmost part of the United States. So if you haven't ever been to Brownsville, that's where it was at. And, it was after the time that I got divorced and it was just me and my kids. I'm like, this isn't really a safe place for us to be living. And I felt like all I was doing was going to work, the kids were going to school, and then we were just like staying in our home if we weren't grocery shopping, just because, there are things you have to be cognizant of when you live on the border. And so after some fretting and a lot of time, I did let that house go. I put it up for sale. And it hurt me. And I felt like for a long time, like that house embodied everything that I wanted. And I was so attached to it. But then I realized it wasn't the house itself that I was attached to. It was the work, it was the energy, and it was what it really represented for me. But that project taught me that I can really do big things and that I can put my mind and my energy to stuff. I can plan things out. I can do hard things. I can do it. You know what I mean? And so as I was leaving the house, I was like, let me just hold on to this key. I'll do something with it one day. And so when this bag came and I had a key keeper, and I was thinking about how Coach is charging us for these key charms that aren't real keys, I was like, no, I want to put my real key on this bag. And so that is why this is my dream bag. It's a nod to symbolism, to things that represent me, things that I love, reminders that I can do hard things, and I couldn't be happier. And if that wasn't enough, I was like, let me just take it one more step further. So I did the Coach Create. And on the front side, I had them do the Rexy because I love the Rexy. I love that he's like cute, but like ferocious. And I feel like that is just maybe a bit of a descriptor of me, right? Like I can be gentle, I can be soft, but I can also be, maybe my past aggressive, but now I would say more assertive. And I just love that it's not all like teddy bears and rainbows and unicorns. We have us a nice little Rexy. And then on the other side, I wanted to do my birth year, which is 1988. And that is because I am so determined to enjoy aging and to age as gracefully as my body and my genetics will allow me, and to, not buy into the myth of anti-aging, or everybody needs to, have plastic surgery, or your value goes down as you age. Like, I say, fuck that. I'm enjoying my life. I'm living my life. And my market value does not go down just because I have, 8 years and kids and all this other stuff behind me. And so whenever people tell me, oh, I hate to ask a lady her age, I'm like, no, I'm going to tell you my age. I'm 37. I'm almost 40 years old. And I am damn proud of that. All right. And you will never be able to shame me for my age, because I have learned a lot. I have accomplished a lot. And I would never, you hear me? Never go back to my younger days. All right. So let's get into the bag. So in the back pouch, we'll start. I told you I do have my phone in here. There's plenty of space, and my iPhone 16 Pro very easily goes in and out of that pocket, even with my larger case in there. And then I do love that this is a dual zipper bag. So I try to keep my zippers in the middle. I'm going to try not to overstuff this bag at any one point in time. So in the back, you have the Coach Creed and you have the zipper pouch. And because I have so much space, literally all I have in that pouch are my lip products and my perfume. So my perfume of the day is the Jo Malone Beach Blossom, because I take the opportunity to wear this every time I can. And then I have my Huda Beauty faux filler. And then every time I wear a faux filler or a lip plumper, I always put a little bit of a lip balm underneath it, because my lips are a little bit sensitive and I don't like them getting dry and raw. So that's in the back pouch. On the other side of the satchel, you do have a snap pocket. And honestly, I have nothing in there. So I'm a little ashamed about that, because I need to figure out what to put in there. I'll probably put maybe my pen or something. I was excited that I finally have a bag big enough to use my Dior pouch. I have wanted a soft squishy pouch for so long, but then when my son got me my gift for Christmas, this came as a gift with purchase, and I finally was able to use it, and it goes so well with the bag, and it's just super squishy. And I have my typical EDC items in here. I did put a few other things in because I probably should carry them anyway. I just threw in a few extra feminine wipes, and then I do have some yogis. I have some lovely cream savers, a pack of peanuts, got my mirror in here, my hand sanitizer, a few feminine products, and I have been waiting forever to use this bag, and now I get to use it. I'm like just super excited because it was like free to me. Yeah, so good stuff. Next, I have my Coach sunglasses. These are lovely. I just got these from the outlet. I was very impressed with the outlet glasses. These are transparent gray. They're kind of a little closer to black, but a nice, clean, classy look. And I thought that would be a nice, edgy pair to wear today with my black bag. I've got my keys, which I just attached to my cherry trigger snap. And in here, I just have my gym key and my key fob. And I just put that on the trigger snap so it'll be easy to find in this larger bag. Ooh, I did wrong. I have a loose pen in there. Let me not do that again. I am working to carry my commonplace notebook. I'm going to share details about this in another video that leads into my monthly mindfulness series I just launched. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how I set this up and how I use it to really kind of just help regulate myself and organize myself throughout the day. But also I do a lot of like creative and content thinking here. And let's see, what else do we have? Okay, here is the star of the show. So you guys know that I have this dark lime essential card case that I absolutely love, that my son gifted me, and I love this wallet. I've been taking care of it. But for the longest time, I have wanted to like decorate or do something with it. And my favorite thing is cherries. So when I took the bag in to do the Coach Create, I also took the wallet, and I absolutely love it. So they did let me pick the placement, and I wanted it to kind of match from the corner. And red and green, if you don't know, are perfect contrast colors on the color wheel. So that's it. I'm just super excited and super pleased. And it was just like, I feel like it took a level of bravery to get myself to be creative with my bag. But then I realized like, that is what I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And I like being able to exude my personal style. So let me pack this little bag right back up. Everything falls in place pretty quick. And then zip her up. Yeah. So I love that this bag has great slouch. It's gonna be a great fall and winter bag. I'm looking forward to beating it up. I believe this is the glove tan leather, so it should get some patina, some wear on it well. It's really not too heavy, even with all my supplies and everything. I've been carrying it for the last couple days. I haven't bothered to carry it crossbody, and I don't think I will. I just like the styling of it as like a large satchel. And with the Coach Create, and this is a bag that I would say very well exudes my personality and my personal style. So I'd love to hear any comments that you guys have. Have you considered the Ace Satchel? What do you think about the styling? Do you like it? And how do you think this compares to some of the more recent models of satchels that Coach has put out, whether it's the Savannah or the Rowan or the Empire? What do you think about the old Coach versus the new Coach? So I'll look forward to interacting with you guys in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.